The Grudge 3 is an very evil, angry spirit horror movie sequel. So, first off, before we even get started into anything, I'll probably do this intro for a couple of my videos, but yes, I will not be doing captions on my video anymore, as CapCut has made it a pro option and I just can't do it anymore unless I pay, which I'm not. We'll just complain about that for a couple of videos, but yes, The Grudge 3. So at the end of The Grudge 2, we are at this apartment complex, and then that's where the movie ends, and this little boy basically is the last person to be alive. Well, the movie starts with basically following this little boy. He's in this psychiatric medical facility getting looked at by these doctors, and yeah, he's basically like, this girl is gonna kill me, she killed everybody, and yeah, they don't believe him. He promptly gets wiped out, which unfortunately, or fortunately, is the best part of the movie, which is in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, he gets messed up. Like, they did really good on that, which kind of set a tone for the movie that they didn't really follow the rest of it, but I'll get more into that here in a little bit. So yeah, we're back at that apartment complex, which is now basically the new hot spot for the Grudge entity spirit. And a little fun fact, which honestly the second movie really didn't do a good job explaining, but I always thought in the second movie that the apartment complex was still in Japan, but I guess the apartment complex is in America. It's in Chicago. So I was a little thrown off by that. They don't really explain that too well but yeah, nonetheless, we're in America, new Grudge hotspot, and the owner, you know, obviously the person that's trying to run this apartment complex just had these gruesome deaths, and yeah, people are leaving because it's like a crazy ass fucking place, you know, a lot of crazy deaths just happened. He's struggling to get people in. He's just stressing out about losing his job, and plus he has to take care of this little girl, but she's like very sick, or she gets sick very often. I don't really know. I think it's like their sister or his sister. I'm not sure the relationship, but basically they allude when the brother and sister are talking that she was kind of dropped on them by their parents. I don't know. I wasn't really paying too much attention to some of that stuff because I really just didn't like the way this movie went. But yeah, nonetheless, the movie is about this guy who's taking care of this apartment complex that is now the new Grudge hotspot. And yeah, people are just dying in the apartment and it's spreading. And there's this girl that's chronically getting sick, and she's kind of a key to ending the curse. And the sister to basically the woman that dies and becomes the original Grudge. That's not what they're called. They're not called the Grudge. It's like a spirit form, like Juno or something. I probably mispronounced that, but yeah, it's something like that. But I just call it the Grudge, so that's just a little FYI. And yeah, basically they gotta try to stop the Grudge, but if you know anything about the Grudge, once you're cursed, you're kinda just donezo. Like, you can't escape the curse, literally on the cover of this movie. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm not trying to go into too many spoilers, so we'll talk a little bit more about spoilers in the review. So my review to the Grudge 3, and like I kinda stated earlier, this movie definitely, for me, peaked in the beginning. That little boy got fucked up. I'm telling you, like, that little boy got destroyed in the beginning, which just set the movie up for me. I was pretty excited, but it was kind of boring. I just didn't really like the writing in this one. It didn't add to the story like at all. How the second one adds to it and builds on it and is just really good. This one didn't do that in any shape or form. Also, at the end of the second one, the sister becomes a Grudge, but where is she in this movie? She's nowhere to be seen. Didn't really get that, but nonetheless, yeah. The acting in this movie actually was kind of pretty good. The brother that ran the apartment complex, his acting was pretty good. I liked the acting in this movie. It wasn't bad. There was just some things about this movie that fell off. Like, one thing that they did in this movie was like make it a little bit more gorier and like bloodier, which, I mean, I'm a fan of that stuff, but in these movies it's like how the first two wasn't really like that, you know, like them killing you was more like you just kind of getting snatched up type stuff, or them forcing you to do something, while in the Grudge 3, like, they were like actually like killing people. I don't know. That one thing I really didn't like about this movie was they kind of just took out the whole you getting snatched into the spirit realm. Like, that was crazy. Like, that's intense. I like that in 2 at the very end when old girl gets snatched out of her clothes. Like, that stuff was pretty cool. They didn't really do that in this movie, which kind of sucked. But the production was pretty good. Everything was pretty good. I just didn't like the writing. Even though when I looked it up, because I thought maybe it was a different writer, the person who wrote 1 and 2 worked on 3. I'm just kind of curious to see like how much he actually like put into this movie, because it just didn't feel like 1 or 2. It's hard to explain. I personally, okay, well, we'll just get into this. So my recommendation for the Grudge 3, and me personally, I probably wouldn't recommend this. Not that it's a bad horror movie at all. So if it was its own movie, I probably would recommend it because it's not bad. But as a sequel that didn't do anything for it to be the end for like a trilogy, just what it should have brought to the table, it didn't do that. So I can't really recommend it. Like, if they just ended 2 with the beginning of 3 with that little boy getting messed up as like an end cut scene, you could have literally just ended this franchise at 1 or 2. I think it would have been perfect. But nonetheless, I probably wouldn't recommend this, but I probably would have if it was its own movie. So very conflicting, but nonetheless, The Grudge 3.